Hey, and we're live. Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Hey.
Nobody's here yet
Hello.
now.
So, it, oh, I'm hearing
Yep.
pretty bad echo.
That was me turning
Yeah.
off the sound from the stream.
I don't know if anyone's here, but just a quick explanation of what we're doing here today. This isn't our normal show or anything like that. This is basically me and Owen sitting around, hanging out, chewing the fat, as they say.
Yeah.
That's a weird
And
term. I've
it
never
being
liked
us
that
too,
term.
there's a fair amount of fat to chew.
Yes, there is. And it's for those of you who watch our show. What you guys don't know is that generally Owen talk for about half hour or so after the show, and like a half hour before the show, where we just kind of
pretty
joke
consistently.
around and stuff like. Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about what me and Owen do is just that, and we tend to lose a little bit of that feeling when we do our show because we're trying to focus on topics, recapping things we've done, that sort of stuff. Kind of gets lost. So
Yeah, so just
so
chill
this is
stream
us
of conversation.
just- yeah.
It's good. So how are you? See, now immediately we're live. We're like, all right, what do I want to talk about? What's my topic?
Oh man, I mean, we wish our script writers were a little bit better. This come on, you need to write a contingency for when this happens.
Do you know what the simplest difference is, though? If we need to, we
What's
can
that?
leave dead air. That's the biggest.
Right.
The biggest release, because the problem is, I think we've been doing the podcast for a long time now, and doing it as streams
Yes.
have changed how it feels for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're pretty good at kind of just keeping talking, things like that. But you
Right.
don't really get time to think about what you're doing.
Right. It's a little too. Like, shit. Go. First thing on top of your head. It's not exactly stream of consciousness. It's a.
Right.
Well, it kind of is. It kind of is stream of consciousness sometimes, but it's like a guided stream of consciousness.
Did you just change your mic?
I did.
Like mid-sentence?
I did. No, I just entered puberty this moment.
My girlfriend just texted me to tell me Vern Troyer died.
Oh, that's too bad.
I did know that he died, but what I find interesting is that my girlfriend thinks that this is like pressing news for me. Like my musical is gonna need a new cast member now. My long in production musical that I was planning to write for Mr. Vern Troyer. That is sad though.
It was called The Biggest Fan.
And it's like a triple entendre, because it's about a guy who works in a very large air conditioning plant. Hello to Liz Loche in the chat. Hello to Luz Con. It's just a chill out stream. We're just kicking back, chatting, having fun.
Yeah,
Sure,
we're
funny
just
enough-
relaxing a little.
Do you know what's weird about this? This is actually my second just relaxing chill out stream of the day. Because
Oh, then you should be ice cold, baby.
when you suggested doing this, I was like, well, I want to do fall streams today because I've been a little bit behind. I'm very much trying to like catch up lately because channel's been a bit slow. I'm trying to work my way out of a rut, which is fine. I've been there before, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
And but when it came to doing my fall stream, I was like, I just can't be bothered. And then I went away and I watched Justice League. And my
Oh.
choices were sit and think about the fact that I'd watched Justice League,
Or death.
or do anything to like distract my brain. That is not a good film.
No, it's not.
And it's one of those things where it's like they're 5 films in now, and I think the one that they've exercised like the least control over has been Wonder Woman, right? Like that's the one that's been the least
Right.
orchestrated. and it's the best. Right. And it's like, at this point, surely someone said to them, like, do this differently? Make it different?
Please?
Hello to Savannah says, is there still going to be a stream Monday night? Probably, yeah. Unless something comes up.
Yeah.
So, I watched it. I didn't like it. I really tried to do what you said, which is, like, try and just... But, like, if it was an episode of the Justice League cartoon... Because what John said was, think of it as, like, he tried to think of it as just an episode of the show. If it was an episode of the show, it wasn't a good one.
Right. For me, it was... Imagine this movie is what it isn't.
Do you know what the worst thing was? That's my
great advice.
What the worst thing was by the time they'd done all the introductions, there was only an hour left of film.
Right.
And so the actual plot of the film is so rammed into that last hour. And there isn't, like, I was surprised how little there is to it. You know what I mean? It's a very...
There is very... It's the thin film on top of gravy of a movie, you know?
Right.
There's not a lot there, but what is there makes everything so much worse.
Right. Like, I absolutely agree the Flash is the highlight of the movie.
Yeah.
And he's not amazing.
For me, Aquaman.
He's not... The Flash is not even amazing. Do you know what I mean? He's just... No. He's just competent.
Like, I really enjoyed Aquaman in it, honestly.
Yeah, I could say you'll leave it. I think the reason Flash and Aquaman work, right, the most of the two is, if you look at what their role of the film is, their story, broadly speaking, is kind of complete, right?
Right.
Less so with Aquaman, although he's fine. But, like, with the Flash, his role is new superhero, newly brought onto the team, doesn't know if he can do it yet, eventually becomes a super... That's a complete arc.
Yeah.
In the time he has. He's the only character who has that, I would say. That... He actually has the one moment in the film I actually really like. There is one moment I think is good. And it's when they first confront Steppenwolf, who for some reason they were like, oh... The big confrontation should be they just figure out where he is and he's in a sewer torturing people. Like, okay. But when Flash freezes as they go in, and Bruce just says, just save one, and then you'll know what to do next. That's actually a good scene. Good moment.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Not to make this sound like a normal stream of ours, but... I think the bit that I thought was really like, was like, is it just me or like as soon as Superman entered the scene, like the stakes were just gone?
Right.
Like honestly, at that point, like, and they don't even try to hide the fact, like Superman literally can be doing all this on his own.
Yeah.
Like, because he beats the shit out of Steppenwolf, leaves, goes to something else, comes back, and continues to beat the shit out of Steppenwolf without ever breaking a sweat.
Right.
While all the other ones are like, kind of like, oh, I'm helping.
Hey, tiny bit secret.
No, you're not.
Well, the whole premise of the movie is the Justice League is basically irrelevant as long as Superman exists, so bring Superman back to life so he can do it.
Right.
Which, like, if I... saying this is the strongest section of the film is sort of like saying, I don't know, it's like the most integral part of the turd, you know? Like, but the sequence where they're discussing whether or not they should bring Superman back up to the point where they bring him back is like the only part of the film that feels like it has any focus to me.
Right.
It is still not great.
No.
And how you get
No,
from
it's
like...
not.
I mean, I should be saving this for the proper show, but I was... Like...
Oh, we don't have to talk about this on the show.
I said to Beth after I finish, you know what it feels like? It feels like, you know those videos where people put together all the footage of a movie that hasn't come out yet in the order they think it's gonna be?
Right.
It was like that, but they actually had an hour and 45 minutes worth. But I still feel like there was like half an hour missing somewhere.
Well,
yeah, it wasn't great.
It's, no. No, my, oh, last maybe a couple days. This last week has actually been kind of a rough one for me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh yeah? Yeah, save the podcast for lying.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I do. Like I said, you know, when we start the show, we got our script writers, everything. This is just us raw.
They say that's what comedy is, you know. Lies peppered around a central truth. You know?
Yeah, I can see that. It's... Yeah, man, it was... Like, so at work, some stupid stuff happened, and I got stuck, like, doing this... I'm currently on a 10-day streak. Before my days off.
10 days working? Oh.
Yeah.
Very well, let me...
And it's... Yeah. Not enjoying it. And, so that's kind of been, like, defining a lot of myself lately. Just like, oh, God. Like, I got 7 more days. I got 6 more days. You know, it's the countdown to the worst Christmas ever. Again, the funny thing is, like, I'm literally counting down to 2 days where my goal is to just do nothing. Like that's my ultimate goal. We're just like, oh my god, I'm like right there, just so close to just doing nothing, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, that's been kind of like, oh man, just
108 to get some more Molotovs. I'm playing Bloodborne too. We're both playing Bloodborne, right? No, that matters.
Yeah.
Just chilling out. Have you figured out where you get your gun yet? I'm trying to remember where you get them.
Oh, it's one of the little messengers.
Yeah. Because you were playing when we went around the messages. I can't remember which ones we've done or not. Tiny Bad Secret says, what game are you playing? Bloodborne. That was well timed. This is just a chill out stream.
Yeah.
Kicking back, chatting.
Yeah, that's us. No, I also saw that not just Vern Troyer died, but Avicii died.
Yeah.
Man, he was pretty young.
Maybe someone's
like, what,
gonna wake
28?
him up.
Aw, too soon.
Aw, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna commit to
No,
that.
honestly,
It's not the podcast. I don't have to commit to a joke. I can apologize.
Where do you repair your stuff?
There's a workshop in the Hunter's Dream. You can repair them and you can fortify them too, which is actually more useful than leveling up, actually. But you need items to do it.
Mm-hmm. A workshop tool required for this task is missing. Okay. Alright, because apparently my... Oh, here we go. Yeah, because apparently my thing died. Or my,
Tiny Bad Secret says, also R.I.P. Dale Winton. Probably missed that tribute too. So late tonight. I imagine you have no idea who Dale Winton is, right? I can't imagine he's, like, famous in the U.S.
No.
He's like, the best way to describe him is British daytime TV presenter. In the 90s, he presented our version of Supermarket Sweep. You know what I mean? He's that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely man by all accounts.
Right.
Very orange. Just a very orange gentleman.
Who's that one really orange guy in the U.S. besides Donald Trump?
I don't know.
Something Hamilton? He's an older actor, and he's been in some... He's a very kitschy actor. He's actually in a movie that has one of my favorite lines of all time. You ever seen Love at First Bite?
No.
Oh god, it was this really shitty Dracula movie from like this late 70s, but it was also supposed to be a joke. It is a comedy Dracula movie.
I love comedy horror movies.
Yeah, and one of the big joke is that they captured Dracula and they're gonna exile him from Transylvania and exile him to force him to live in a efficiency apartment in New York City, and which because he's all like what do you think you can do to me? Like, I am immortal, like I welcome death, and like, no, we're gonna force you to live in an efficiency apartment in New York City. No. But as they're like, mobbing him out of Transylvania, all the pitchforks and stuff like that, this one guy runs up and just like spits on him. He's like, "You bit my mother." It's like, "Oh, what's your name?" "Wilfred." "Oh, yeah. Well, Wilfred, I bit your mother. And your grandmother." Just, it's so stupid, but it makes me laugh every time.
I like the every time, suggesting you've seen this film a lot.
I've seen it okay, I've seen it once, but I've YouTubed that scene multiple times.
See, one of the things I really miss about TV is, because I don't have TV reception at the moment, right? Like, I don't use a TV. I haven't had a TV antenna in this house since I moved in, so I just don't watch TV like that. But I do miss, like, weird, crappy movies that you would see over and over and over again on, like, in this country they'd be on, like, bank holidays, you know what I mean? Like, every day off work, in the middle of the day there'd just be some weird movie from 1963 starring some guy you've seen in some other thing.
It's just some other movie.
But you get movies that you'd never really... They wouldn't be very famous, but you'd never really learn the name of them, What's that movie? It's a really good film, actually. I think this one was quite well known at the time, but you never see it these days. It's the old black and white horror movie about the mob that helps the police catch a child killer. You seen that one?
M?
Is that one? Yeah! I think that's really good. That used to be on TV all the time, but you never see it.
Oh, I mean, that's not, like, a bad movie. I mean, that's a classic. They make you watch that in film school,
Really? Like, I don't think it's I think that must be not as well known over here. Because that used to be a TV movie. Not a TV movie. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's... I don't know,
such a good film. Yeah, it's so good, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, what's his name? Fritz Lang did that. Same guy who did, like, what's it called? Metropolis?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually the first, instance of a serial killer in a movie. It's like
that
considered
we
like
know
the first. Well, I mean, fictional serial killer.
Old Stabby Jones, the cameraman, accidentally walked into the shot of The Wizard of Oz, I believe.
Yeah, that would have made that whole interaction with what the fuck? I was gonna say Scott Bale, but not Christian Bale. Would have made that so much different. Like, you're messing up my lights. It's like, it just stabs him. Oh my god!
It's you that's been haunting the streets of London town. You just saw that. It was just like the clip that everyone went around and like, oh, that's pretty weird. Yeah, we sent this to the insurance because we were concerned that Chris would walk off the movie, but actually he bled out.
And they knew it went, and the insurance company knew it would go viral, so...
But actually he bled out several hours later, and the insurance covers that, so it's okay.
Yeah, well...
The prostitute murdering lighting director of London town.
London. like like half of his murders are actual murders, the other half are suicides because they got bored waiting for him to get the perfect lighting.
Just hold on.
God,
just hold on.
Like,
See,
I'll just
pop that
do
down.
it myself.
I'm just gonna move this here. I'm just gonna move this here. Yep. Just gonna pop this. No, hold on.
And,
yep. This. No. Could you just look to the left a little? I'm just gonna
Yeah,
put a
does it
little.
look okay to you?
I'm just gonna put a little diffusion on here. Hold on. Hold on.
Like, I think this would go good with a gel. You think this is good with a gel?
Whoa! Hello to Asperger, how you doing? Rumor was that he was actually a skilled surgeon because of the exquisite way he cut his white diffused lighting sheets. He was skilled with a knife.
Well, he was so good as a surgeon because he could see everything, you know? He made those, make sure those operating rooms were beaming.
I always like how that whole thing about Jack the Ripper potentially being like a skilled medical man's like basically bull. They just had a really, really low opinion of working class people. They thought we couldn't figure out like cut the throat or disembowel the body. Oh, like how will they ever figure that out? So many like Jack the Ripper theories are just so clearly because they just wanted to be someone interesting, you know?
Right.
When in all probability is just a guy.
Yeah.
If it's any of the famous suspects, it's Tumblety, which is hilarious.
Well, I've heard the, like, he was a barber, you know? I've heard that one. But not just any barber, he was the royal barber. And, like, I mean, it's the dumbest theory known to man, but it's, he was the one who was cutting Prince whatever hair, Prince...
Because there has to be a royal connection, you see.
Right. And the prince would, brag about prostitutes, that he was sleeping with, and then the barber would go off and murder him.
Have you ever heard about this guy, Tumblety?
No.
So he was an American, funnily enough, so Americans often like this theory. Nice home connection,
Yeah.
little bit of patriotism about your serial killers.
Oh, yeah.
But he was a guy
we
who
do have the best.
He traveled the world for a bit, and in theory, he would have left the country around the time the killings would have stopped. And there's always that theory of why did the killings stop? But there are witnesses that say he invited people into a room, showed his friends, and he had just a jar of uteruses preserved. And he was like, I've got uteruses of women from aristocrats to paupers. And he was very proud of his jar of uteruses. And now people are like, do you think he could have been Jack the Ripper? No. What? Keeper of the pickled uterus? Maybe.
My question is, why uteruses? Like...
Well, I mean, if he is Jack the Ripper, right, that's not like the most baffling bit, right? Surely.
Well, I mean, I guess for me, if you're gonna keep a body part, right?
Right.
It should be one that actually looks, like, interesting. I mean, like, a uterus just kind of, I mean, no offense, ladies, because I know the uterus does some amazing stuff, but it just kind of looks like a tube, It's,
Right.
it kind of looks
Well,
like
the only
something that would
thing-
come out of like an old CRTV,
Sure, but here's the thing. When you're a serial killer, right? Like, most compulsive behavior from serial killers, right, clearly comes from repression, right? You can usually trace it back to a discomfort with your own thoughts, right? An inability to be... When you look at any kind of compulsive behavior like that, 9 times out of 10, like, the source is something like that. That's why you get a lot of abused, traumatized kids, people who can't be open about their own feelings, and then it turns into this compulsive violence, right? So basically,
Sure.
when just the thought of a uterus makes you want to go tee, but you can't do it because it comes from inside a
Right.
lady's private bits. Cutting them out and keeping them into a jar, probably makes a lot of sense.
I guess.
And then it's not attached to the woman, so then you can go tee.
Yeah, all you want.
Yeah. Who's gonna stop you? Anyone who's tried to stop you is dead.
You know what? I'm on to this idea. You
Get me a
converted
mason jar.
Stat.
Tiny Bit Secret says, Royal Connections keep things newsworthy. Although here's what I don't understand. Today is the Queen's birthday, right? And they did a concert for her tonight on TV. Shaggy was one of the performers. Yeah, but if you ask him, he'll deny it.
If you desire. Very well. Let the echoes become your strength.
Isn't he from Jamaica? Isn't that still like part of the Commonwealth?
Oh. Guess. Probably.
Although that joke's been done 1,000 times, but I do enjoy the thought of Shaggy just falling back on his own lyrics to answer all the questions.
Well, Prince Charles recently was touring a facility and asked an Asian woman, where she was from. And she said Manchester. And he said, "You don't look like it."
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, he's inbred. Give him a break.
All the time in the news, all you ever see is articles about how modern the royal family are these days and how the royalty's changed. You don't look like a local.
But okay, I think they're probably referring to Prince Harry and Prince Ron Weasley.
That is Harry.
Oh, who's the other one? William.
William, yeah.
Yeah.
Although technically Harry's called Henry.
Whatever.
Hey, most people in Britain don't even know that.
I care less about the royals than you do, okay?
Hey, I care a lot about the royals. That my level of caring about them should not be interpreted as support for them. I care a lot that they fuck off.
You just have to receiving the line. Oh, hello, fuck off.
Oh, if I got the opportunity to meet the Queen, I would take it. I would absolutely take it. And I would absolutely take the opportunity to say, do you think an inherited monarchy has any place in a modern... Whoa! Democracy! And then I would be escorted out, and it would not make the papers because it would be covered up by the conspiracy people.
The royal Illuminati.
No, I legitimately hate it, and I hate that, like... People often say things like, oh, I think the Queen would be... They say things like, the Queen is often, it's a constitutional monarchy, and if we voted for the repeal of the thing, the Queen would support it wholeheartedly, all this stuff, or it's about the will of the people. But the truth is, nobody knows what her political opinions are, because she's never commented, you know what I mean?
Right.
So people just attribute to her whatever it is they'd like her position to be.
Hey, did you know that the Queen supports the shaving of all children with black hair?
I like the idea that that's your policy that you'd like the Queen to support.
Well, it's not. That's the thing. It's not my policy. It's what I would like the Queen to support. Like, I don't have a stance one way or the other on the shaving of people with black hair. It's. I just think it'd be funny for the Queen to have that position.
Yeah. It's funny though, because for me it's not really that confusing. What people always like, well, what sort of person is the Queen? Well, let's see. Her husband, that by all accounts she very, very, very much was in love with and really wanted to marry, is a kind of weird old right-wing racist. And her son is a meddling, interfering, environmentalist racist. I think we can count on, racist, at least. You know what I mean? We can
Right.
probably gather that much.
You know, I think the queen actually has kind of an interesting life before she became the queen. You know?
Oh, yeah?
You know, like I'll admit, like it might be romanticized a little bit, but I think it's really fascinating. You know that she, fixed cars and she drive ambulances in the war or something like that. Or,
Yeah.
That I think is actually kind of interesting. Like, I like to imagine a universe where she had like forfeit the crown just to be like an ambulance driver, you know?
I like to imagine a universe where she was killed in battle.
Jesus, man.
The people like to always reference like Cromwell as a thing to be like, well, we tried it before the other way and it didn't really work out. Yeah, because they were idiots.
Right.
They got rid of the monarchy because they didn't like the monarch. And then they were like...
Right, not because they didn't like the monarchy, they just didn't like the guy. You know?
Right, and then they were like, okay, well, Cromwell's interesting though, because he was absolutely opposed to a monarchy. He thought that was a bad idea. So when he... But when he was put in place...
He was a man of all seasons. Yeah.
When he was put in place, he was like, okay, well, you can't make me the king because I don't want to be the king. I want to be a democratic leader. Don't make me king. So they made him this thing called Lord Protector. But they didn't implement like a presidential thing, and they didn't make Britain a republic, right? So they kept... So during like this time, Britain is a constitutional monarchy with no monarch. So they can't do anything, because all power goes through... They were determined to make it as legal as possible. So rather than doing the really obvious thing, which is, hey, we're going to make a new constitution and sort that out, all the law puts all the power in Parliament and everything through the monarch. So every time they try to do anything, they're like, okay, guys, we got a problem. This thing we want to do goes through the monarch, and we killed the king. Any thoughts? Any thoughts? King's dead? And that's basically why Cromwell's rule was so terrible. And also things like banning music.
Yeah, that seems kind of like a bad idea.
Well, that's why I always think it's strange where people are like, well, we tried it before. And I was like, yeah, but I'm suggesting don't put a nut in charge. There we go.
Right.
Don't put a loon who is ethically opposed to the concept of fun in, in the place of the monarch. The English Civil War is really fascinating. Because, like, it's so easy to look back and be like, well, obviously you would just get rid of the law that says the power's done in the monarchy. But they were in a legitimately difficult position because they had to preserve the concept of the authority of Parliament, you know? Because that's what the conflict had been about.
Like, it's funny because everyone's like, oh, just amend it, you know, like over here, right? Whenever there's something that people don't like, oh, just amend the Constitution. Like, I'm not saying these are comparable in any way, but I had to partake in the rewriting of our standards and procedures in my department like last year. It's a fucking nightmare. It's a goddamn nightmare to do that sort of thing.
And if you can rewrite a constitution on a whim, what does it mean to have a constitution?
Right.
Like, it's not much of a right if you can just change it whenever you like, you know?
Although I do like the idea of having a constitution that's like just like written on a cocktail napkin. Like, like this is kind of what we worked out over happy hour.
Well, I saw something really funny on Twitter the other day. Do you remember a few years ago when Britain had that election and basically nobody won?
Right.
Oh my god, where the hell's my weapon? I have no weapon in my... I've lost my... There we go. Oh. We had that election, nobody won. And so we had to go into coalition. And the Conservatives got the most seats, and they went into power with the Liberal Democrats, who are like they're the middle party. They're the one who, when there's a hung parliament, they're the kingmakers, basically.
Right.
And it pretty much killed the party, because the Liberal Democrats are a progressive party, and the Conservative Party are not. And they wouldn't pair up with Labour, because the Liberal Democrats, really, they don't want to admit it, but they hate Labour more than they hate the Conservatives. Because it basically began as a separatist party from Labour, really.
Right.
So they would not pair with Labour, because they just wouldn't do it. And that upset a lot of people, because a lot of people... Basically, you've got one party of lefts, and one party of progressive centrists, and one party of the right. But the thing is, progressive centrists and the left can work together, but the left and the right can't work together. And you can't attract both, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think what the Liberal Democrats didn't realize is they saw themselves as, well, we're the, kind of people who talk like, well, I don't really have a side. I just pick the best policies for the best situations, things like, you know what I mean?
Right.
They thought...
I vote on policy.
Right. They thought that's who their voters were, and it turned out their voters were actually left. So at the next general election, they went down to like 5 seats. Completely and totally trashed the party. But I saw one of them tweeting, and they really, really, really misjudged this tweet. She was someone who was involved in the party when those deals were being made, and she said, we really campaigned hard for many years for a 5p fee on plastic carrier bags, which is something that came in a few years ago here. You want to get a plastic bag from the shop, pay 5p for it, cut down on usage. She was like, and the Tories...
Right.
That's the Conservative Party. Fought us all the way.
Yeah.
But we finally managed to get him to agree to it by trading for tougher sanctions on benefits claimants. And she posted that like it was... Like, yeah!
Like a victory?
Yeah! Right. Woo!
Like, no one cares!
Thus followed her like, her mentions erupted with people being like, wait, you're proud of this? Like...
That's your great compromise?
And then, so in her answers, she was like, yeah, but joke's on them because it didn't go through because it turned out to be illegal. And then someone was like, wait, so you were willing to vote for a change in law so bad it was illegal? It turned out to be... And they were like, no, so she kept like backpedaling. She was like, before we made the deal, we knew it was illegal. So actually we tricked them, you see. And we knew it would be illegal if they did it. And everyone was like, but Parliament makes the laws. It's not how that works.
It's like, you realize that if it's illegal, before you guys do it, it is now legal. Like, that's kind of how it works.
But she was thrilled. Hey guys, you remember that time we screwed unemployed and disabled people over so that we could cut down on plastic bag use? Yeah!
Like, even environmentalists are like,
Yeah. There were a lot of people like that.
It's like, well done, I guess.
The best thing that happened after that election with the Liberal Democrats was their party conference the year after. And they had it at the same size hall they normally have it at. But there were only like 38 delegates. Because they only had 3 sitting MPs at the time. And I tuned in one day to watch the conference. And there was this huge hall. There was a guy talking. There was this huge hall. They were on TV. And there were like 5 people sat in this hall. And someone must have said, like, we're on TV, just sell it. And the guy on the stage kept saying, and I must repeat, it really is a shame that they've chosen to schedule it at such an awkward time because, not everybody can get healthcare at this time during the day and things. And there is, of course, an opposing event in the other auditorium. Like, just say something. Just make it look like everyone's here who wants to be here.
That takes some cojones, you know? Just be like,
It really is a shame that not everyone can be here today, to the empty room.
it's like the it's like the excuses people make when no one shows up to their birthday party.
Right. Oh, they must have got the invite.
Yeah. Was there lost in the mail? Yeah. Guess we better vote on upping the postal costs, you know, and we'll trick them into doing it in lieu of plastic bags. Yeah.
Well, there's been this
That's
thing
how
with
we'll do
Trump
it.
lately, hasn't there? Like, I don't want to talk about Trump too much in our chill out
thing?
stream. Oh, I know, but this thing with Trump repeatedly saying to people that that Amazon costs the post office lots of money to send the parcels out, and people keep explaining to him that no, they pay postage, and he doesn't get it.
Right.
Like he doesn't know how the post works.
I like that because he's all like, oh, and then Bezos refuses to comment on it. He's like, why the fuck would he? It's stupid.
Right,
Like,
and you know what this really means is that somewhere in the Trump organization they've found a way to screw the post office.
Right.
Because that's how Trump works, right? He says a thing and it's something he's doing that he assumes someone else is doing as well, because
Right.
he's doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny because like everyone, like it's a thing that keeps on coming up time and time again, and I don't know what the purpose of it is. I really don't. But there's like this push like every like 2 or 3 years about like defunding the post office because like no one uses it.
Right.
And
But it's a federal service here, right? In the US, right?
right. Yeah. And so they do this thing where they'll cut budgets and they'll cut down costs in like these various ways. Like at one point they like cut down like the amount of like post offices there were. They
Right.
closed a bunch of them.
Yeah, the same thing happened here
And
before it was
then-
finally privatized.
And then like a year later, made this big thing like, well, we should just get rid of the post office because it's inefficient. You cut down half of the post offices. Like,
Right. Well, that's what. Whenever anybody tells you that the NHS here has long waiting times and things like that, that's what's been happening to the NHS for years. They deliberately defund, and then they talk about how inefficient it is and how much reform it needs. You know. And it's like a deliberate path to say what we really need is private investment and ownership. That's the long-term goal, you know? And everybody knows that's the
Right.
long-term goal. Pretty much. Oh, whoa! I just got a text from I heard all this noise and I was like, huh, someone's taking their bins out on a Saturday? That's not bin day. And I just got a text from my girlfriend that says, Storm's here! Like, okay. Apparently we got a storm. I wondered why my
Fair
cat
enough.
just jumped inside. Followed by like 30 other cats. Like, shit, you see that there?
this is yelling across the street. Toffee, get inside!
No!
Oh, do you see over there? Toffee Adams.
It's a
stuck
twister.
outside. That sucks. I'm kind of curious. Do you consider your cat to have a last name of Adams?
No. Do you?
Yes, I do think Toffee's last name is Adams.
Do you consider your cat to have the last name of Cadotte?
I do, actually. And I'll actually do that thing where, like, when he does something stupid, I'll be like, Ronald Winchester Cadotte. Like,
Well, I
his
came
middle
down
name
this
is
morning.
Winchester.
I came down this morning to find that my... So, does Ronald have a litter box? Or do you just let him go outside?
Yes.
Okay.
He does both. Like,
Right.
He'll prefer to go outside, but if it's like raining or cold or whatever, he'll just use the box.
Right.
He's pretty flexible.
Toph's kind of the same, and then sometimes just on a whim, you know, one or the other. But does he just, like, have a totally inconsistent moment of, like, okay, litter's no good. Could be, like, one litter will last, like, 3 days. One will last, like, a day before he just goes, no! Done. You know what I mean?
Well, no, because, like, I clean it, like, very regularly. And like I said, he doesn't use it a lot, so I kind of eye it up a lot, and it's like, okay, well, I can visibly see some like poop on top, so yeah, it's time.
Oh my god, I'm getting killed. So I tend to do it pretty frequently too, but I tend to like scoop chunks and leave, you know, the litter. As long as, you know, she'll use it. Usually about 3 days, right? That's kind of my changing schedule. And then every so often, she must just have like stink pee or something. She'll just go, okay, I've decided it's 1 day litter today. I'm gonna pee on this laundry I found.
Oh, see, I don't have to deal with that. Like, Ronald doesn't pee on stuff ever since we got him neutered. So I don't know if it's a difference between, you know, a male and female cat. But as soon as we got him neutered, he just does not pee anywhere other than the box or outside. And I imagine outside he probably has one spot as well.
She's a bugger for it. She was okay. I'll tell you what it was. She was okay until she did it the first time. She must have just had like a day where she was like, okay, like we must have just left her too long on the loose. Do you know what I mean? And then, like, that, like, flicked a switch that was like, okay, sometimes it's okay to pee in the house. I was not prevented from doing it at that time, therefore now it's okay when I decide that it's sub-urgency. Thrilling conversation in the chill out stream today.
Yeah, I know, right?
Cat pee.
Cat pee. Donald Trump.
I am not making any blood bomb progress.
No, me either.
I'm trying to get my blood echoes back and failing.
Well, it's like I'm now in that mode where, like, okay, I'm gonna go fight the boss. I'm gonna go fight the boss. I'm gonna go fight the boss. And so, but now that I'm so focused on fighting the boss, it's like I'm trying to rush through everything else, and I'm just getting caught.
Right. Well,
I'm making mistakes that like I didn't make the first time I played the game. Like I'm doing like stupid stuff or like,
well, that's that's the Souls experience basically. Every enemy of any size is capable of taking you down if you get sloppy, right? That's the gimmick.
Right.
You have to play to the best of your ability all the time. It's kind of what I like about it. I must admit,
all the time.
I like I like Bloodborne more as a game, but I like Souls combat more because I think it works better with a shield. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bloodborne encourages you to go in faster. Souls encourages you to be more patient.
Right. So here's kind of a.
Oh, I'm gonna level up a bit.
I don't want to say sad, but this is. So the add-on to how like I'm not having a great week. Yesterday, I went down to the local brewery because they're having a band play, and I was like, okay, yeah, seems like a good time. And so while I'm down there, I run into some people that I know, and we're all hanging out, we're having a good time, and like that. And the thought crosses my mind. I'm like, okay, well, here's the group. You know, like I've hung out with these people many times, and you know, I work with most of them, and you know, they're all good people. I like hanging out with them. Like, there's someone missing. There's someone missing from this group. And it dawned on me, like, oh no, it was this girl that I was seeing for a while, and we had we basically, I don't want to say we split up, but we weren't like serious dating.
Right.
And that was actually the reason why we stopped seeing each other, because I wasn't like ready for the serious commitment sort of thing, and she wanted to have a serious relationship. And so I was like, oh, that's fine. We can go our separate ways and blah blah. And I thought I was good with it, right? I'm like, okay, that was the choice I made. I don't want to have a serious relationship. And so, well, she shows up with the new guy that she's seeing, and I never thought of myself as a jealous person. But I remember sitting there and like seeing them together, and I'm like, and like for all intents and purposes, he's probably a really nice guy, and I don't think he's not. But I'm looking at him like, really? She's with this guy? Like, why is she with this guy? And I'm like, 'cause you said no, you dumb bastard. It's like, so I was like, oh man. And so having to kind of come face to face with that, I was like, oh god damn it, Jonathan. Like you're 30 years old, you should have known better. Like
You're 30 years old, there'll be nobody else now. No, that was it.
Yeah.
Your last youthful chance at happiness.
Like that's going through my head. I'm like, oh man, like that might have been it. Like that could have. Like life isn't a romantic comedy. You don't bail on one person and all of a sudden like, oh wow, someone better just comes along and things are so much better. No, usually it's like, oh no, you let that one slip away.
Yeah, but it's never the end. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. It's one of those things where it's like you're sitting there, you're like, it was just like one of those things where I'm like watching this, I'm like, huh, because like I just didn't, like, I honestly didn't care until I saw her with like her new boyfriend. I was just like, oh man, maybe I am a jealous person. Like,
oh my god, that storm is really loud. Hey, it's off. Yeah, come on. Sorry, my cat is sitting on me because she's scared of the storm. But she's trying to pretend that's like not why she's coming to sit. She's being like, oh yeah,
that's
I just thought I'd see what's going on.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, I'm not scared. Are you scared?
Yeah, it's just to come see if you were okay.
Yeah. Like, it's okay, big guy. You can tell me. You can tell me if you're scared.
I'm just gonna shuffle off to a safe place to leave my Bloodborne character, and then I'm gonna go get the window. I think that's what she wants me to do. I'll be back in just a moment. Keep chatting and carrying the stream.
I will do just that. So yeah, folks, if you're listening, that's kind of my thing. Jealousy's not it's not an attractive thing, but it happens. Everyone gets a little jealous, and it's whatever. You gotta move on. Try to do the best you can. If you don't, you don't. Oh, I didn't even know these steps were over here. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing because you're watching Owen, but I just kind of discovered something over here and kind of excited. Because finally, like, something new that I haven't seen before. Oh, what is this down here?
And I'm back.
Whoa, what the hell is all this?
What?
Oh, I discovered like a whole new area on accident.
Where is it? Oh, are you
like
on the other side of the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole other section that you can level up and fight different beasties and things.
Mm-hmm. Is there another lantern around here?
I believe so, actually.
So it'd be nice to have another lantern. to get to, because I don't want to keep going through those fucking mobs of guys. I don't know, I'm not seeing any lanterns.
Yeah, but there's a whole route around there that leads to different areas.
Oh. I think I'm just gonna save that for another time. Or maybe I'm not, because I think I just rolled down to a point where I can't get back up. Fuck!
Oh, did you go down into the, like the sewer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky.
Here I am.
Hey, it's off. It's cool. Windows closed.
Lantern? Anywhere?
Oh,
Lantern?
speaking of lanterns, I wasn't expecting to see a Green Lantern in the Justice League movie.
Yeah, that was actually kind of neat. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
Oh.
It looked good as well. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
just seeing it. It was a nice Green Lantern.
Yeah, it was a nice effect that he used. Which was honestly the best part of the Green Lantern movie, is I thought they actually used some really cool effects for the ring power, so.
I still haven't seen that film.
Eh. Not
Yeah, I've heard
missing
it's pretty
much.
bad.
Yeah.
So what's bad about it? Like, I've heard... all I've ever heard is how terrible it is, but I don't really know anything about it. What would you say is the biggest flaw with it?
The biggest flaw is plot. No, it does this thing where it sets up kind of a compelling idea where, you know, the whole idea of, you know, Green Lantern is that they, you know, they're fearless and, you know, they overcome fear and that's how they use their powers and that sort of thing. And so what they do is they set up a villain that is kind of terrifying, that like preys on fears, like, and he can read minds, so he knows what people fear the most.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, but about halfway through, they decide to swap him out for a different villain that is a giant, like, smoke octopus thing.
Oh. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what always
It's,
seemed, like, as someone who hasn't seen that movie, so I'm not really fully qualified to comment, but you know what always seems like one of the big weaknesses of that movie, conceptually,
What's that?
from the outside of? Green Lantern, yes, is a space policeman who belongs to a force of police people who travel through space and have lots of aliens and spacey alien stuff in it.
Yeah.
But Green Lantern on a day-to-day basis is an Earth-level superhero like Superman.
Yeah.
And the movie looks more like there's going to be a distinction that means very little to people who don't read the comics, of course, and I'm not one of them, but it looks like a Green Lantern core movie, not a Green Lantern movie.
It's not.
Do you know what I mean?
That's just like the stuff they showed in the trailers.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Most of that movie takes place on Earth.
And does it feel like a superhero movie in that sense, then?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, there's some decent heroics.
Hello, Sir Eco. How you doing? Welcome.
Like, and that's actually something that's actually kind of nice about it, is that it's like they portray Green Lantern as being heroic.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, and he does heroic things, but what he's going up against is just kind of dumb. You know, just
Right. Because, yeah, the trailer really did look like that. I'm glad to hear it's not like that. I keep meaning to watch it.
yeah. I mean, it's an interesting thing to watch, but it's just a lot of like weird, like missteps, and it's the epitome of it. Oh, Jesus. I Ow, ow. It is the epitome of studio interference.
Right.
Like, cause to me, it definitely seems like at a certain point they decided that the villain that they had set up is not. Oh, cool! I found like a whole outfit. That's cool.
Like, does it have a little tree corner hat?
It says hunter garb and all that sort of stuff.
It's fun.
That's cool. I should probably put that on. If I die, I don't lose that stuff, do I?
No, I don't think you lose any stuff if you die, really. So I feel like you're resetting things. I'm gonna start running past these guys for a bit. I want to go fight the, I haven't even been past the guys at the end. I've been grinding a little bit, but I want to start getting to the cleric beast. You can actually get past there pretty easily if you practice. Oh, you can also, have you seen if you get the bell, the guy you can summon, Father Gascoigne, to fight the...
Oh, yeah.
You can summon him to help you fight the cleric beast, if that helps, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Have you summoned him yet?
Feels kind of... No, I haven't.
Feels kind of cheap. Take what you can get. It's just an option. there are these summoning points throughout the game. It's kind of a... I know it sounds kind of weird. It's kind of a tutorial for the fact that you can summon other players into play with you by ringing the bell. If you switch to an online game, you can do... You ring your beckoning bell, and then that'll summon other people in with you, and then if you ring the other bell, that'll let you join with someone who's ringing... Basically, one person rings one bell, the other person rings the other bell, and you'll be matched. It's a kind of an in-game matchmaking system. So you can go do stuff together. You want?
Sounds like a bad, like, Tom Jones or Dean Martin song.
The beckoning bell.
Ring your bell, I'll ring mine.
I hate these ogres. Right, brick face. Oh, crap.
Oh, good. I made it back to the bridge. Wait, no. This isn't the bridge. Where the hell am I?
How often do you kill the ogre?
Every time.
Really? He does dish out good XP.
Easy.
Oh, I find the ogres quite difficult.
They're very easy to shoot and do the visceral attack on.
See, I'm not really out of practice with that stuff. Like, I've forgotten how to parry. And I haven't even picked up my gun yet.
I have 5,600 souls. I should just go back. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back and level. Fuck.
Oh, damn. I'm so out of practice with Bloodborne. I really want to just sit and play it and get into some of the weirder bosses, but I'd forgotten what it's like early on when you're just kind of relearning. I'm gonna go to the Hunter's Dream and get my my gun too, I think.
Yeah. You should probably get one of the core pieces of the combat.
Oh, the gun sucks. Do you even use the gun?
Yeah, I do actually. I've gotten pretty good with it.
I never used the gun. My entire time with Bloodborne, I don't think I've used the gun that many times.
Well, isn't it the only way to pull off the visceral attacks?
No. No, you get your parry as well. Which I believe is your L2 attack without the... I'm trying to remember how you parry. It's been, like I say, it's been a while since I did all this. Okay, where the hell do I get my gun? Ooh, to you too. Oh, there we go, firearms. I'll take my... I had the pistol last time. I'll take the blunderbuss this time.
You know, I wonder... Like, you know, every time you load back in, there's always this bullshit. Like, no matter which side that you transport to, the Hunter's Dream or the other one. Like, what I want to hear is you teleport into like Yarnum and just in the distance you hear this like high pitch. It's like, shut up, some people are trying to fucking sleep.
I was thinking the other day, this is a weird thing. I realized there's a scene missing from Terminator 2. So Terminator 2, right, like a big part of that movie, like on a more thematic level, away from the plot, it's about
Where
it's
did
about
the doll go?
learning what it means to be human. Sometimes the doll's just not there.
What the fuck am I supposed to do then?
Yeah, slow down and come back in. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And it might just be somewhere else around. But it's sometimes easier to just load out and come back in than find it. She moves around.
I found her. Where is that?
Okay, so Terminator 2, right? Like, running a major plot point of that is the Terminator is an AI like Skynet, right? And it's
Sure.
capable of learning as much as Skynet is, but that's, like, disabled, okay? So, because it's kind of useful to them, they take out its, like, inhibitor chip so that it can learn to be more useful and to be more human. And then the rest of the movie is kind of them teaching it to be human, right? Remember
Sure.
that?
Yeah.
And one of the things he teaches it is the high five, like, whoops too slow trick. You know?
Right.
Where is the scene later in the movie where John Connor does something, like, similar to that, and the Terminator at machine level efficiency and speed pummels a flat palm through his body? Because this seems to me to be, like, the obvious implication, right? Like, that would be... Do you know what I mean? Like, what does he learn from that? Except,
Well,
okay, I have to
think
be
it's the
significantly
context.
faster.
I guess, like... He won't get me again.
Right. Right.
High five! He just rips off his head.
This is the
Not
scene
this time.
This is the scene I want in my version of Terminator 2.
I'm not too slow.
Yeah. He literally just puts, like, all the power of a mechanical, drill, of a pneumatic drill, into John Connor's face, but flat-palmed. And so fast it just, like, passes through him, so that the newly dead Edward Furlong has, like, 5 fingers, in grooves going down his face. That is the scene missing from Terminator, don't you think?
That's grim.
And then she goes, "You're too slow. You're too slow, John Connor."
The slowest you can be is dead. It's like the idea that the advanced AI computer translates the prank into an act of aggression and war. Like,
Right. There are so many things that he should have learned.
yes, shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Damn you, James Cameron, you fucked the whole thing up.
And then, like,
Oh, fuck.
and then he learns things
Doing
he
okay
has
there?
no context to learn, right? Like, I know now why you cry. I'm sorry, but we haven't gone into the complexities of that. You can learn why you feel sad.
Right.
Crying requires, like, a whole other context thing. I sometimes just sit and think about, like, how bad Terminator 3 was. I was reminded recently, because they did it on the Sequelizers, which is one of my favorite podcasts, where they do bad sequels.
Right.
But there was a ton of stuff I'd actually forgotten about. Like, I often remember Terminator 3 as being better than it is, because I happen to think Terminator 3 has a legitimately very good ending.
Yeah.
It's quite a twist, and it's a good take that relies on your knowledge of the first film, you know? But like everything else about Terminator 3, a lot of people have said the most obvious complaints, the biggest one being that, like, the TX is in no way remotely more advanced than the T-1000.
Right.
Not remotely as useful, and then there's stuff like... But But a lot of the jokes in it are really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I still remember the Elton John glasses.
That I actually legitimately kind of laughed at. I'm not gonna lie.
You're a bad person.
I'm okay with it. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. I don't know what the hell that is.
Have you ever seen that Terminator 3 deleted scene? Where you see Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Marine he's based upon?
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're gonna... Clearly they cut that scene because they were like, okay, is this really the tone we're going for in Terminator 3?
Like, is this dumb? Like, I think this might be dumb. Oh, shit. I'm out of ammo.
Oh, I'm getting killed a lot. I'm not with it tonight.
Yeah. Ah, sorry. I'm fighting the beast now, so I'm kind of not focusing on the conversation at hand. It happens.
Nah, that's alright.
Leave me
We'll probably
alone.
finish up soon. I think I'm going to bed
Yeah,
soon.
probably.
Chill stream! Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed watching
Chill
this.
stream.
I have absolutely no idea how like, popular this stream has been. I'd be very surprised if it's got any views. It has 5 likes, though. You weirdos.
Hey, yeah. Oh shit! Get out! Get out!
You still watching Highlander? I managed to get into Series 2 of Highlander, quite far in now.
Nice. Oh shit! Oh god, this thing is so freaking annoying. Stop screaming!
I love the design on it, though.
Oh yeah, it looks cool and shit, but... Oh.
Alright. I got my last death.
Oh,
I think I'm going to finish up the stream, buddy.
Alright.
That was our chill out stream. I'm going to go to bed soon. So,
Yeah.
bye, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
This
joining
was-
us. On our chill out stream.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. Just have to chill out, play some games, do some stuff.
Yeah.
I should have played some Hex while I was doing it. That's what I should have done. I'm so hooked on Hex right now. More hooked than I should be on Hex. Alright, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.
See ya.